Okay, hi YouTube, Mr. User Boss here. In this video I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation Vita version of Fez. Now Fez is a indie hit, it's a puzzle platformer which had, generally speaking, very highly rated reviews. So in this video I'm just going to talk about my first impressions of it, having played it for about an hour or so, and what I think to it and whether I think you should buy it. So firstly, I got this on a sale. I think it was something like $6.99 or something like that, compared to the normal price of about £10. Which is not a great saving, and to be honest, I actually think it's a little bit expensive for what it is. It feels more like a mobile game than perhaps a console one, and I'm not a massive fan of the graphics. I actually think that the game looks really good when it's in motion, when you're sort of looking around the 3D environment. It actually looks really impressive, and it's running at a crisp native resolution, but just the retro art style doesn't really work in my opinion. I think that the game would have really benefited if it looked something like Rayman Legends or Rayman Origins, or just something a little bit more upscaled and realistic rather than, the retro fuzzy art style, which to be honest I just don't think works. Sound design is very impressive, there's crisp, clear sounds, and there's a nice sort of background hum that kicks in about, 20 minutes in. And it's, a pleasant sounding tune, but, nothing spectacular. There's no sort of massive orchestras playing in the background or any epic music going on here. But to be honest, that wouldn't really fit the tone of the game anyway. But it's just light, charming music which works and does the job. The actual platforming mechanics are fairly solid. I mean, I think that the jump animation's a little bit floaty, and it's not quite reached the pinnacle that is sort of Mario in terms of how, effortless it feels, and to be honest it does feel a little bit unnatural, the whole movement. I really like the actual idea of the mechanic that you can change the angle you look at, and it does actually change the gaming space. It's not like there's just sort of one 3D space and you're looking from different angles. It does actually sort of change the way the environment actually interacts with you. For example, you can sort of fall off a ledge, which you wouldn't do if you were looking at it from a different angle. So yeah, it makes quite an interesting gameplay experience, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen or played before. But it's kind of a little bit sort of repetitive, and I don't really see the hook in the game. I mean, all that happens is right at the beginning you're sort of introduced to this glowing cube, and it tells you that you have to collect all the cubes, otherwise the planet will be destroyed and you'll die basically. So to be honest, I just didn't really see the need to push on further. I mean, it had no story. Games like Thomas Was Alone, they were so successful because of their strong narrative, and I think it would have worked with a game like this. They could have built into it quite a, realized story, but it's just very simple and a little bit sort of, you feel, why am I even doing this? On top of that, there's no platinum trophy that was originally promised, when the game was announced back in 2012, I think it was. I mean, for me personally, I just didn't feel like I actually wanted to play it anymore. After about an hour or so, I felt pretty much like I was done. It's by no means a bad game, but it's just something I'm not personally interested in. Whereas games like Borderlands 2 have guns, and games like Persona 4 Golden have just loads of level grindy goodness, this game just didn't really have anything that caught my attention. It's definitely a different game, but it's not something that personally I would play or that I'd highly recommend. It really doesn't help the case of Fez that the game is almost 300 megabytes, so it was really pushing the limits of my 16 gigabyte card, and I had to delete a couple of things just to fit it on. So that's it from me guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.